Welcome to the West Covina Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 8th at 7:10. Public comments addressing the commission. Any person wishing to address the Planning Commission on any matter listed on the agenda or on any other matter within the jurisdiction is asked to complete a speaker card that is provided on the speaker podium and submit the card to the Planning Department staff member. Please identify on the speaker card whether you are speaking on an agenda item or a non-agenda item. Requests to speak on non-agenda items will be heard during oral communications before the public hearing section of the agenda. Would you please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Redholz and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer and meditation. Can we please have roll call?
Commissioner Hing, Commissioner Jimenez, Commissioner Redholz.
Here.
Commissioner Castellanos.
Here.
Chairman Holtz.
Here. Is there any changes or additions to the minutes of the regular meeting on July 25th? None. Therefore, they stand approved. Oral communications. This is a time when any member of the public may speak to the commission on any matter within the scope of duties assigned to commission relating to non-agendized or consent calendar items. Other matters included on the agenda may be addressed when that item is under consideration. Does anybody want to speak on anything not on the agenda? If not, okay, we're closed. Takes us to public hearings. Item number 2, conditional use permit number 17-07, variance number 17-08, categorical exemption. The applicant is Kathy Barajas for Manifest Studio, location 421 South Glendora Avenue. Request for a conditional use permit to allow tattooing within a 2619 square foot tenant space located within a 10,474 square foot two-story office building adjacent to Glendora Avenue. The proposed business is located in the general urban zone. The applicant is also requesting a variance to deviate from the 300-foot minimum distance requirement from a single-family residential zone while being utilized as a parking lot. May we hear a staff report?
Yes, our planning intern, Alan Hernandez, will be presenting that report.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman and Planning Commissioners. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting a conditional use permit number 17-7 and variance number 17-8. The subject property is zoned general urban as identified in our downtown code and plan. The general plan designation is neighborhood high. The subject property consists of an office building of 10,474 square feet, built in 1963. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow for the use of a tattoo studio in a 2,619 square foot tenant space that is located on the second floor of a 10,474 square foot office building adjacent to Glendora Avenue. The hours of operation would be 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. The applicant has indicated that they're going to operate on appointment base only, and the employees would consist of 4 tattoo artists and one receptionist. The office building consists of 3 tenant spaces, 1 on the first floor and 2 on the second floor. On the first floor, you have LA County Department of Children and Family Services. On the second story, you have All American Security Services and the applicant. The interior of the tenant space would consist of 4 tattoo stations, 1 office, a conference room, a room for display of merchandise, a customer waiting area, and a cleaning and storage space. As you can see in the chart, the applicant is meeting 7 out of the 8 minimum distance requirements, with the exception of the minimum distance to a residential zone. The purpose of the separation standard from the residential zone is to provide a buffer to residential uses in residential zones. The intent is to protect residential development within residential zones and does not include residential uses within West Covina's downtown plan. Constitutionally protected uses were specifically allowed in the downtown area. The applicant is requesting a variance to deviate from the minimum distance requirement from a residential zone. There is a minimum distance required of 300 feet. The applicant is proposing a distance of 267 feet. The applicant is requesting a variance to encroach 33 feet within the 300 required. The residential lot serves as a parking lot for the East Valley Medical Center. The medical center has a long-term lease agreement with the Emmanuel First Lutheran Church to utilize the site as a parking lot. Therefore, the use of the site will not change within the near future. That site is located with In conclusion, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow a tattooing studio within a 2,619 square foot tenant space located on the second floor of an office building, and the applicant is also requesting a variance to allow for a 33-foot deviation of the 300-foot minimum distance requirement from a residential zone property, which is serving as a parking lot to the East Valley Medical Center. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the resolutions approving conditional use permit number 17-7 and variance number 17-8. That is all.
Any questions of staff? Commissioner Reynolds?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is it possible or feasible to change the zoning of that, where that parking lot is? Or is that not feasible to avert a variance?
Yes, the answer to that technically is yes. The city has the ability to change the zone on any property they want to. It doesn't have to be requested by the property owner. I would say, though, normally, and typically in West Covina's recent history at least, West Covina hasn't set about to change a zone unless the property owner was requesting it. But technically, the city has control over the general plan of the zoning.
And in this case, the property owner is the church,
That is correct.
and there's a long-term lease in place,
Yes, 40 years?
correct?
40.
It was a total of 50 years. 10 years have gone by. 40 are left.
40, only 40, huh?
Only 40. Start making plans.
Exactly. All right, thank you.
Let the record show that Commissioner Jimenez has joined us. Any other questions of staff? None? None? Would the applicant like to come up forward? Please state your name, and if you haven't filled out a card, we need you to fill out one of those cards. All right, just give it. Thank you.
My name is Kathy Barajas, and I'm the applicant. We put these together to give you some insight on our goals. If you go ahead and open up the book. And if you go to the international award section, it shows you all the awards that Fernando has won over the years. He's been an artist for over 13 years, and he has competed worldwide in London, Moscow, Italy, Puerto Rico, Barcelona, Canada, Hawaii, New York, Los Angeles. You take a look
Who
at
is the artist? Is there
He's my husband. He's
the name?
Fernando Andrade.
Okay, thank you.
If you go through the pages, you'll see the Los Angeles awards, some from Moscow, Texas. If you turn the page again, you'll see some of the magazine features and book publications that have acknowledged him. And I don't know if you guys have got to the 2 pages where it shows a couple of the tattoos that he's done. It's portraits, realism. That's his. That's what he specializes in. That's what he's known for. No, keep going. Yeah, there's a Steve Jobs. There's a Mike Tyson, a Mother Teresa. So that just shows, like I said, some of his tattoos, and it just shows what he specializes in. If you keep going, there's a picture of a conference room and some other ideas of what we have in mind for this upscale tattoo studio that will be defined by quality and service. The minimum rate per day is $2,000. It's private. The fact that there's no signage on the building is perfect for his type of clientele. They fly in from all over the world, and they would appreciate that privacy. The entrance and exit will be from the entry from the back parking lot, and it's a quality design and concept for our studio. His clientele comes in and flies in from all around the world, from Canada, from Asia, Europe. The majority are from out of state or country, and it is appointment-based only. It's not like your typical walk-in shop. Typically, there's they have to make an appointment, and it's by appointment only. People are flying in, and that's how it works. After the conference room pictures and the glass door ideas and the tattoo area, which will give you an idea of like what we're looking to do, there's also pictures of 2 of my sons. The last pictures, 2 of my sons attend South Hills High School, which is in West Covina, which is one of the reasons why when we moved back to California, we did our research, and West Covina is a great city where we want to raise our family. My other son, my youngest son, he plays baseball at Walmart Auto Park, which is also in West Covina. And I'm sorry, I'm nervous. We've been blessed by this industry, and we owe it to our fans, our supporters, our family. And we have made it a mission to give back and to continue to make a positive impact. Our visions and our goals are planted here in the city of West Covina. And, we're looking forward to making this dream possible and just, changing, not only our lives, but our families' lives and everybody around us. And we just feel West Covina would be the perfect fit. That's it.
Any questions of the applicant? Commissioner Castellanos?
Could you explain to me about the $2,000 per day minimum? What is that per artist? Is that per scheduling or?
That's his fee, and that's only because, like I said, he's established in the industry, and he's his work is, has that type of quality where he's able to charge that much.
So that's like his daily rate that he
That's
could
his daily,
charge
a full
pretty
day
much?
rate. Yes.
Okay. And advertising, is it mostly through Instagram and word of mouth?
On Instagram, he has over 160,000 followers. And I mean, that speaks for itself, but I mean, also, like I said, he's been tattooing for over 13 years, so it's just, I mean, he's well known in the industry. If you want black and gray realism, like, people know he's the go-to guy.
Thank you.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yeah. Are you his wife?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure because it sounded like that. So there will be no signage of any kind apparently, right? Just on the,
It's not permitted, but like actually because of the zoning, right? It's not permitted, but that's not a problem. It actually works in our favor because we don't want that walk-in traffic. And like I said, it's more, it's something that's better for our clients. They'll respect that privacy. He tattoos doctors, lawyers, athletes, just people that would respect that privacy. So it's a good thing. It's not a problem at all.
okay, and he will, what, the other locations that you listed, 2014 to 2016, Las Vegas, and then Alhambra and all that, so he will be exclusively here?
Yes, those are just the 3 other shops where the 13 years that he's tattooed, those are
Right.
the 3 other shops where he has worked.
Okay.
But he will be exclusively here, yes.
So he will be here and along with 3 other? You said there's going to be 4 tattoo artists there.
I mean, once we're up and going, we'll interview and we'll hire people that, have equal, I mean, not, maybe not as good as him, but, that have,
yeah, 'cause people,
quality work also.
Yeah, they make an appointment, they want him to do the work, I would assume.
Yes,
Couple
yes. I mean,
thousand bucks, they
he
don't want
gets booked
somebody
for
else.
months at a time, and
Yeah,
yeah, but we'll hire other artists, that will specialize in their forte also, and they'll accommodate, other types of clients.
okay. It's an interesting tenant mix in that building, I think, with the LA County, and then you got the fingerprinting place upstairs.
Yeah.
Then the gentleman, hopefully, so, interesting.
At this time, if there's any other questions, I'm not sure, but I'd like to bring up my, he's the owner of the tenant space, and then also my business manager. If you have any other questions, I'd like to bring them up. And at this time, I'd also like to say thank you to Ron and Alan for working with me all these last couple of months. I appreciate your time and effort.
Any other questions? Commissioner Jimenez?
Just maybe a couple questions. So would this be a first-time venture?
Yes.
On your own? Okay.
Yes.
And you're a West Covina resident, or you live in the area?
Currently, we just moved back from, well, we've been here for a couple of months now. We just moved back from Las Vegas, but me and my husband, we grew up in El Monte, California, which is, not too far from here. Like I said, we moved to Las Vegas for about 3 years. He worked at a great tattoo shop there where we learned a lot, and he was working alongside some great artists, and California is where our heart is, it's where our family is. So we found our way back, and like I said, we did our research, and West Covina has a great school district. Like I said, I have 2 sons that go to South Hills High School. My son's an all-star baseball player, and Juan Morado is very competitive. So we're looking to buy in West Covina in the future. Currently, we live in Covina, but I still travel, and I bring my kids to West Covina for their sports and their school.
It sounds like it's a very specialized work that you do, as well as your husband. But we have to make a land use decision this evening that's tied back to the land. What I want to know is, what was the thought process? How did you end up with this location? And how does this location meet the needs of your business? It sounds like a growing business.
Yes. Well, to be honest with you, you want to come up, Jigger? And, to be honest, like I said, we love the city of West Covina. Like I said, my sons are involved in sports. They go to school there. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we're looking to buy in the South Hills area. We went looking around different places. We came upon this place. We met with Sam. We told him our plans, and he believes in us, and we just feel like I mean, I know it's a little big, but I know it'll fit all of our needs. Like I said, you know, with all the clientele that comes in from out of town, I mean, it's a perfect area. I mean, there's the malls across the street, there's a Starbucks, you know, there's restaurants across the street if they want to go grab something to eat. Like, it's perfect.
Would you say it's something related to the convenience of the location that led to the decision of this property?
It's definitely the convenience and also the kind of
Would you
upscaleness.
please state your name
I'm sorry, Jigger Mercado.
again?
Jigger Mercado,
And you're the business manager?
accountant and businessman.
Okay, thank you.
For 3 years now, been working with them and their company. Just as far as them owning a business, it's been 3 years. As far as starting their own studio, it'd be their newest venture. So they do know how to operate a business, and they chose this city just to, again, as far as this upscaleness of West Covina, they got drawn onto this and they wanted to kind of be a part of West Covina, and South Hills seems to be the high school that their kids want to graduate from.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Just out of curiosity, what is the average cost of one of these tattoos? I mean, I know it depends on how intricate it is, but like some of these that are in here, what's the average cost?
How much is the Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs, for example, is about, it can range anywhere from 12 to 1,500 to 6 to 8 hour tattoo.
12 to 1,500? But I thought you charged 2,000 a day.
That's for a full day.
That's for like, the 2,000 would be like an 8 hour session.
Why don't you come up to the microphone, please?
Sorry.
Can you introduce yourself?
State your name,
My
please.
name's Fernando Andrade.
Okay.
So, yeah, typically a portrait could run anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500. It just mostly depends on what the client is looking for.
How much detail?
An 8 hour session, which probably would be like one of those bigger, those side panel, that's a $2,000 rate. So it's just all on the client and what they want to book.
And you can do that in one session?
For the most part, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, work pretty fast. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Are your tats covered up by your sleeves and shirt? Just curious. Your own tats?
My tattoos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just asking.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak in favor of the operation?
Good evening.
Please
My
state
name
your name and
My
fill
name
out a
is
card
Sam
when you get
Salama.
there.
I did fill up the card. I am the owner of the building. I've been a business owner in the city of West Covina since 1993. I'm the person that solicited the applicant. I advertised my building online. I'm the one who moved the County of Los Angeles. That's a search place. The County of Los Angeles occupied that place since 2000, I believe 2013, they moved in, the County of Los Angeles. It's just a research place. It's not a kids going in there. I'm the owner of All American Security as well, which is I'm on the second floor. We do security business since 1994. We established in the city of West Covina. So I chose them to be, their business in there. They're very successful. I did a search on them, their background. They've been established for over 10 years. So that's where I entered the contract with the applicant.
Thank you very much. Any questions? None? Do you have any idea, maybe it's not fair to ask you, the location when they get done is quite intricate, what they're going to put in that space.
Yes.
How long it's going to take to get it in that condition? And it is going to be in that condition before they open for business?
Well, I know for a fact I met with the operations, the construction company that they chose to come in and do the work, and he promised me it's just going to take about 30 days to finish up, or 45 days.
And are they going to have this finished before they open for business, or?
Yes, oh yes.
They will?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else want to speak in favor? Does anyone want to speak against the project? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Open it up to commission discussion. Anybody want to start? Commissioner Castellanos?
Thank you, Chairman. It sounds like you guys did your research and you have a long history. I like the private aspect that you're proposing, and if that gets you know, high-end clients who respect privacy into our city, I think that's wonderful news, and hopefully they'll continue on and check out other restaurants and stores or anything that catches their eye. And yeah, I mean, it sounds great. I like to hear that we have some high quality skills that want to set up shop here in West Covina. And if my fellow commissioners agree with me that it's a good thing, then I'd look forward to seeing you guys and hope to see a lot of West Covina hashtags on that Instagram. That's all.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to thank you for this. This was very informative and helpful. This is always good. The more information, the more things we can look at, and, you know, it helps us a lot to decide that. I also want to thank the building owner for coming in tonight. We appreciate that, too, very much. And, you know, the tattoo industry, business, whatever you want to call it, has changed and evolved over the years, from a, you know, back alley type of operation to, you know, a front and center quality kind of enterprise now. And it sounds like and seems like that, you know, Mr. Andrade is one of the leaders in the field. And, you know, the fact that it's not going to be, you know, a lot of signage, you're going to be appointment only, it's, you know, Monday through Friday, you know, limited hours. I think it all works out great. And to speak to the variance, you know, variances are sometimes you have to look at them and they're kind of tough to figure out. Does this really meet the requirement for a variance? I think this is a textbook requirement for a variance, since there's no, you know, it's zoned residential and there ain't no house. You know, it's a parking lot, and it's going to be used as a parking lot for the next 40 years. So, you know, I think that's a relatively easy decision, at least for me. So, you know, if we get agreement on the commission, you know, we'll welcome you to West Covina and wish you success. And I think our chair's going to want to make an appointment, since he was asking about price.
I can't stand the pain. Mr. Hernandez?
You know, I guess tattoo shops are a little bit more mainstream now, right? It's a lot of major thoroughfares. You go to any city now, and it seems that they occupy a lot of the primary streets throughout the city. What's unique here that I quite honestly have to say I have not seen is someone that wants to remain anonymous or private in terms of their business. Obviously, there may be repercussions with that, right? But it sounds like you have a very specific clientele, a niche clientele, that's going to keep you afloat. With that said, I believe probably the location is probably convenient for that clientele, especially if they're traveling across the world. I would just hope that you may extend an invite that they partake in some of our other local businesses and maybe patronize some of them. But yeah, thank you for the proposal. I'm also in favor of it. I don't see anything, and I agree with Commissioner Redholz in terms of the uniqueness situation related to the finding, in that within that 300-foot buffer, it's really a parking lot that's zoned residential. So to me, yeah, that is a textbook variance finding, and I see staff made a very strong discussion as part of that first finding that for me goes a long way, and that's really it for me.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the quality of work that I see in here. I mean, it's really an artist. It's beautiful. And congratulations on all your awards that you've got. I'm much in favor of it. I think it's really going to be a showplace. It's really going to be nice. I'd like to visit it once you're open to see just how it operates and all that. So I'm much in favor of it. And if there's no other discussion amongst the commissioners, we'll close it. And staff to read resolution numbers, please.
We have two resolutions, a conditional use permit, which would be Resolution 17-5876, and a variance, which would be -17-5877.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve both those items, please.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second by Commissioner Redholz, Mr. Castellanos. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Castellanos.
Yes.
Commissioner Redholz.
Aye.
Commissioner Jimenez.
Yes.
Chairman Holtz.
Yes, passes 4-0. Congratulations, good luck. We wish you all the success. This action is final unless appealed to the City Council within 10 days.
Oh, these are for us.
Did you leave a card behind?
I'm sorry. Planning Director's modification number 17-03, categorical exemption. Applicant is BMW Management Incorporated for Sizzler Restaurant, location 1100 West Covina Parkway. Proposal to enclose an existing 765 square foot outdoor seating area and remodel the exterior of an existing Sizzler restaurant.
The presentation will be made by our Assistant Planner, Veronica Hernandez.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the Commission. So the proposal consists of a project to enclose a 956 square foot outdoor seating area and remodel the exterior and interior of an existing Sizzler restaurant located on the south side of West Covina Parkway, west of California Street. The existing restaurant building is 5,915 square feet in size with a 956 square foot outdoor seating area. It is located in the West Covina Parkway Plaza Commercial Center, zone general urban, and is part of the downtown plan. The chart included in your staff report as well as on the presentation details surrounding zoning and land uses. Again, the proposal is to complete a remodel of the existing restaurant. The interior of the restaurant will include new seating and decor as well as accessibility upgrades, and minor parking lot upgrades are also proposed for ADA accessibility. There's a proposal to enclose an existing 956 square foot outdoor seating patio area located on the east side of the existing restaurant building. The enclosed area will include a new storage room and add 36 seats to the restaurant. The remodeled restaurant will feature a total of 184 fixed seats. In the exterior, the applicant is proposing facade renovations including new paint, cultured stone veneer, new windows and awnings, and new architectural details. They're proposing to install new windows along the northwest and east elevations. The windows will feature new dark red canvas awnings. Stone veneer will be added along the north elevation and portions of the east and west elevations. Additionally, new wall features are proposed along the north and west elevations. These wall features will incorporate a parapet roof, metal siding in a slate gray color, and metal framed American flag artwork. Metal louvered siding will also be incorporated on the north elevation of the newly enclosed outdoor seating area, and a rod-supported steel canopy will be added above the north entrance to the restaurant. The building will also be repainted in the following colors: dark green, light green, yellow, light brown, dark brown, beige, and orange. In summary, the revised facade will add a variety of textures, color, and detail, as well as modernize the building and create visual interest at the pedestrian level. Conditions of approval are included in your staff report, and staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve Planning Director's modification number 1703, subject to those conditions. That concludes staff's presentation. If you have any questions, the applicant is present.
Any questions of staff?
I just have one.
Commissioner Redholz?
It says the applicant is proposing to complete a remodel. Is the remodel in progress or?
No, I don't believe so, but we can follow up with the applicant.
Okay, I'm just, choice of word. That's what I thought. But, I read everything, so, thank you.
Any other questions? Would the applicant like to come up? Please state your name and fill out a card, which you've done already. Thank you.
Christoph from BMW Management, Sizzler. As you can see, we're trying to modernize. We've been doing this pretty consistently. BMW Management owns approximately 25 stores from San Diego to Yuba City, right above Sacramento. And we've been in the process over the last 10 years of remodeling, updating, changing, building new stores. And so this is one of our older stores that we acquired in its present condition, and we've been band-aiding it for quite a few years, so it's time. It's time to bring it up to today's standards and redo the interior and the exterior. And that patio for years has been a hit and miss deal like any patio. Can't use it during the winter, it's too cold. Can't use it during the summer, it gets too hot. So you get a few days during the year when you can use it. And so the whole idea was to see, you know, get this thing enclosed, make it part of the building, and make it usable. So I know that they do a lot of parties, larger outdoor parties there when they can during good weather. So this is going to help to improve that kind of use in that patio area, which no longer would be a patio. But so if you have any other questions.
How long do you think it'll take for you to complete the project?
Generally, probably about 4 months, 4 to 5 months.
You're going to be open during this time?
We're trying to see how we can do that. I mean, obviously with the patio being separate, we could probably do that, keep it open, but we always get into a part when we get into the interior and we're redoing the dining room where it just doesn't make sense. So sometimes it's a wash. Do you keep it open and try to do stuff, or do you just shut it down and say, hey, let's just go for it and get it done quicker?
Do you have a target date in mind when you'd like to have it completed?
We'd like to have it done before the end of the year. I mean, there's financing in place, so we're ready to move on it. The hard part is once we have this approval, getting it into construction documents and getting that through the building department. So it's going to be a tight schedule to try and do it before the end of the year, but at least the first part of the year. So.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant? Commissioner Redholt?
Yeah, so the enclosed patio, once it's enclosed, that would serve more like a small banquet room or a party room? Or would it be open for general seating too?
Basically, it's still open for general seating, but I don't know if you could go back to that floor plan. Yeah. This particular floor plan showed all the freestanding tables.
Yeah.
We probably are going to put another cluster of booths next to the red line and then minimize the amount of freestanding tables so that we'd still be able to accommodate large parties, but it won't really be a banquet room because it won't be separated,
Okay.
you know, by any other physical means.
And are you going to use the same sign, or is the sign going to be new on the front?
I think that sign needs replacing.
Yeah.
I think it's time, it's met its time.
Okay, so that'll be new also. So the
Yes.
whole front facade will be,
Yeah, the only thing that, we just re-roofed it because during this winter rain, we found, well, we've been leaking for a long time, and everybody's been going up there and, you know, doing Henry's roof patch. So I finally got them to agree to just tear off the tile, and we re-roofed it. So the tile roof will stay, and we're just adding and building up around it, so we kind of minimize the tile. So.
Anyone else? Yes. Commissioner Castellanos?
About that orange, who picked that orange?
My wife did, actually.
Out of curiosity, what's the rationale behind it?
You know, it started back when we did our brand new prototype building. We had a large arch over the center of the building instead of being square like that, and it just became an iconic thing, and the owner really likes it. But we have had some problems with it fading, so that may be a color that we adjust a little bit here and there. But right now, we're just sticking with the standard color for right now. So.
Have you seen that makes it stand out more, or draws attention?
Well, it was enabling the sign to more or less pop out.
Okay.
You know, especially at night. The signage usually has a halo backlit light to it. So it's got an LED glow behind it, and it kind of helps to bring that out at night. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's it stands out, but I was also wondering if it had something to do with enticing an appetite. I've heard that
Not
the
really.
red does
No,
that.
never. We've never really looked
No.
at it that way.
Okay.
but, yeah.
All right.
Well, now.
Just curious. Well, maybe. I mean, people
Yeah.
driving by might hit the brakes and turn left.
Yeah. So now we gotta
Or
get
right,
the tattoo
depending where you
parlor to
come
come over there and eat.
That's right. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for answering that.
Maybe offering up all that, all you can eat shrimp there. So if you're unable to get the construction done before the end of the year, is the idea then that you will wait until after the rain season next year and start maybe into spring, or you would start with the start of the new year?
You know, I'm not really sure how we're gonna approach it. I mean, if we can get through building and safety fast enough, and we can get started where we could enclose the patio portion quickly and move forward without getting into the rainy season, hopefully it doesn't hit us too hard until January and February. But you know, it may be something that we just postpone until after the first of the year. But generally during Christmas time, in most of the stores, is a slower time of the year. But being across from the mall, the store does better business during Christmas. So he has to make that decision on whether it's a good time to do it or not.
You know, you're going to displace a lot of people that are interested in that all-you-can-eat shrimp special. You have to accommodate them,
Yeah.
including myself.
So, you're welcome.
We're not asking for opposing or anything, are we?
Well, I would ask.
Okay. Is there anyone opposed to the project?
I would just open the hearing and ask.
If there's anyone who wants to speak
Okay.
on it.
Does anyone want to speak on the project? Okay. Anyone want to speak against the project? Okay. All right. Commission discussion, if any. Commissioner Reynolds?
Well, this is a relatively easy one. You know, that Sizzler's been there in that location and serving the community for many, many years. You know, it's got a good reputation as far as Sizzlers go, as being one of the best ones. And, you know, I went out there today and looked at it and looked at this. This is much better. So, and so it's, I'm just happy and pleased that you're, you know, investing in the business, investing in West Covina and improving that store. And I think it'll only, you know, serve to improve business, bring in more people. And, you know, as the city moves forward with other new businesses coming in, you know, you're going to be in place already with a brand new look. And, you know, the food is always consistently good. So now you're going to have a nice atmosphere, improved atmosphere to coincide with that. So I'm looking forward to it, and, you know, I'll be supporting it.
Commissioner Hernandez?
I agree that little outdoor area, at least in my opinion, has historically been underperforming. I never really seen any activity out there, nor I think it was inviting for folks to sit down. At least, again, that's my opinion. So to see this improvement, I think only makes, it affirms that Sizzler's here to stay in West Covina. I know a few Sizzlers in the region have closed down, including one in the Covina area, I believe. So this, I think, affirms that at minimum, I'm still going to be able to get my fix of all-you-can-eat shrimp within proximity of my house. Thank you.
Commissioner Castellano?
I don't have much to add other than what's already been said, but thank you. I welcome investment and improvement. I think it'll look great. I think it'll be a better use, like you described, of the space, and, you know, for year-round enjoyment. And it's been a while since I've been there, but I look forward to checking it out.
Commissioners, it's probably well needed, but it's always been pretty crowded there. You've got, you know, good take there. And just for information, Commissioner Castellanos, if you look around at all the fast food restaurants, you'll always see red. And the reason for that, it does trigger psychological hunger. I did a study on that when I was in school. So if you look at McDonald's, you know, all the other ones, they always have red. It's a triggering effect.
I thought so. I thought there was something to it.
Okay, thank you. We'll close it to discussion. Do we need to have a roll call on this?
You do need a motion in a second, and then
Okay.
you can take you don't need a roll call, you just take a vote.
Okay.
I'll make
We
a
have a-
motion to approve the planning director's modification number 17-03.
I'll
We have
second
a
it.
first by Commissioner Redholz, second by Commissioner Castellanos. Can we have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 4. Good luck. Good luck. Look forward to you having finished. And we'll send you over for your shrimp. Okay.
You'll be pleasantly surprised when you see the finished product.
Thank you.
Takes us to new item, non-hearing item number 4, Planning Director's Modification number 17-33, categorical exemption, applicant 501 Vincent LLC, location 501 South Vincent Avenue, modification to the exterior building facade. We have a staff report or
Our
staff?
senior planner, Ron Garcia, will be presenting that report.
Thank you.
Chairman, Commissioners, the applicant is requesting the approval to deviate from the previously approved Planning Commission authorized Planning Director's modification number 1542. The project consists of architectural modifications to the facade of an existing commercial building located at the northwest corner of West Covina Parkway and South Vincent. Here's an existing site plan, including the building in question and the restaurants, which is the Pollo Loco and the McDonald's. And this is the building with the proposed facade renovations. The first floor of the existing commercial building currently includes Goodwill, Dollar Tree, and Honest One Auto Care, which was formerly occupied by Pep Boys. And the second floor houses the Social Security office. Again, this is the existing elevation showing the 3 distinct arcades, the Goodwill, Dollar Tree, and the Honest One. Planning Director's modification number 1542, again, was reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission on December 8th, 2015, to modify the facade of the existing commercial building. The applicant indicated to staff that during the construction and document phase, they came to realize that it was complex and costly to complete the construction as proposed. Staff advised the applicant that the revised plans would be required to be submitted for Planning Commission review and consideration. The previously approved Planning Director's modification essentially included stucco in the building, as you can see, with score lines, decorative corrugated metal fascia, along with a decorative metal fascia canopy in place of the existing arcades for the tenant spaces. And again, that included cement plaster on the north elevation as well. And again, you'll notice on this one, they had included creating storefronts, but because they were able to replace the Pep Boys with another auto use, that no longer was proposed. Again, this is the previously approved elevations on the east and north. And these are the proposed elevations. So the difference here that the applicant is proposing to eliminate the proposed painted cement plaster and also the decorative parapet storefront canopies. And again, you'll notice that the metal fascia, again, are removed. Again, I'll go back to what was previously approved. You'll notice here the lips here and the decorative metal fascia here. And again, now the proposed changes to remove the arcades was to add additional windows on the second floor. Along with the proposal in removing the cement plaster and also some of the decorative metal materials is also, in place of that, they are proposing metal rod supported awnings above the second floor windows, which are located here and here, and also here. So as you can see, again, they're going to keep in line with painting the building as originally proposed in the earth tone colors. Again, this is the existing elevation on the west and south. And again, this is what was previously approved. Again, cement stucco plaster. And again, the applicant is proposing simply just to paint and again, and do away with the stucco cement plaster. In summary, although the applicant is deviating from the approved plans, again, the architectural style remains consistent with the previously approved plans. The revised facade provides scale, color, detail in modernizing the elevations of the building. Although the exterior modifications are different from the previously approved plans, the upgrades to the existing building result in the same intent as previously approved. That concludes my presentation. The applicant is present for any further questions.
Any questions of staff? Commissioner Jimenez.
I'll go first. Ron, just do me a favor if you have this image. I'm curious to see this elevation that you're showing right now under the previously approved. I want to get understanding what we approved in terms of the arcade.
Oh, the arcade, okay. So
Correct.
I can go to the east elevation. So this was previously, this is what was previously approved in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice the decorative metal fascia here, and also along the roof.
Correct.
Here.
And I see the score lines. What I'm interested though, Ron, I want to see that previous elevation that that the proposed, that would be, I believe, the south and north elevation,
South and north.
right?
The arcade elevation, the storefront?
That shows that would show basically the cross-section of the arcade. So I believe it was the north and south elevations.
Oh,
that
I see,
one.
this one here.
Yeah,
So
I guess
here's
here
the cross-section here.
Yeah, I want to see what we approve. This is previously approved.
This is what was previously approved.
Okay, and the upper one is what they're proposing now,
No,
right?
this is- So what was previously approved, what they were going to do is essentially
Bottom,
the bottom,
correct.
which is the south elevation. This is the
Right.
entrance to the Social Security office. Essentially, this is the rear elevation, which is a westerly elevation.
I'm more curious, I think, of the arcade that's facing out onto the boulevard. But at that elevation, that's my curiosity.
So this is the east elevation here. This is what
Yes.
faces Vincent or Glendora.
Okay,
Yeah, so this is where Honest One Auto Care is. This is the Dollar Tree and the Goodwill. And essentially, they remove and I'll go back to that slide. Again, this is the existing arcades. And this is what they previously requested and was approved. And essentially opened up additional windows on the second story.
okay. I still want to see that.
So-
What I'm curious, Ron, is that piece at the corner on the left. That would be, if you go back to that image right there, you see the little figure. They place the figure at the bottom left-hand corner. Yeah,
Here,
that's the elevation.
that is
That I-
proposed. So you can tell that
Correct.
they removed that decorative metal
Yeah.
lip.
Okay, using that same elevation, can you show me what we previously approved?
Yes.
That one, right?
Yep.
Okay, which has a projection, some sort of projecting element coming from,
Which is this.
Okay.
here. Yeah.
okay, that's it, Ron. That's what I wanted to verify.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ritholtz?
Yeah, thank you. Is it me, or with this newest proposal, are we not significantly decreasing the architectural movement on the front from that? I mean, it originally, I was on the commission way back when the original project was approved, from the old building, to what was approved. And now, this 15-42, there's still some movement to me, and some, there's something that pops out of that front elevation on this. It seems to me with the new one, it's flat and industrial looking to me. I mean, am I,
Right, there is a difference between what was previously approved and what the applicant's proposing, and in meeting with the applicant, we did share that concern with the applicant, and they came back with, again, at minimum, proposing the steel rod-supported awnings above the second-story windows. But again, yes, it is different from what was previously approved.
and are those windows, are they serviceable windows? Or are they just decorative, or?
Those are,
I mean, is somebody on the other side looking out?
yes, yes. And that, again, that's the goal, and the applicant can expand on the reason for doing the modification, and the purpose was to provide additional windows on the second story.
Maybe it's not a fair question to staff, and maybe for the applicant. Is it a financial issue? Why they back down? I mean,
Essentially, I think
that they back down from what the, pardon?
Essentially, yes, it was a financial decision.
Anyone else? Okay. Could we have the applicant come up if he's here, Mr. Schmidt?
The Commission, thank you so much for considering this project under these circumstances, and having to come back and return and work with planning staff and the departments here in the city of West Covina have been very helpful. There's been history on this property. Way back when, original Orchard Supply Hardware store, that got remodeled, Social Security offices went in, and then recently just the 2 brand new drive-throughs that are in operation. So the issue with the existing 2-story building is the entire second floor portion where all those windows are has been vacant for almost 15 years. And the biggest thing is there's no natural light coming in. So by removing the architectural elements, the arches and the triangle, we were able to do that in the original modification that was previously approved. And we kind of went overboard a little bit. Then we went into the construction document phase and started budgeting this thing out, and it just didn't pencil because we're doing this strictly to update the building to make it look cohesive enough with the new McDonald's at El Pollo Loco, but yet financially feasible to make it pencil just for this one tenant that wants to come in. We can't get the rents that we can and spend an exorbitant amount of money on construction for this one tenant. So we started peeling back the layers a little bit, working with staff. And from the original approval, we actually enlarged the windows on this second request and kept the same paint color schemes, added these metal canopies above the windows. So we're hoping that we can seal a deal with this tenant that wants to come in.
This is a, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner
This is a second-story tenant?
Correct, yes.
So it's an office use?
It's an office use, yeah.
And you're talking about a savings of $300,000 bucks?
Yes, the stucco portion for the entire building alone was almost $200,000. And then with the framing of all the metal work and the lower canopy arcade section, that was quite a bit of money too. So the arcade, the existing arcade is remaining. That's one thing. So the only metal work that was on top we're removing, and the metal work on top of the parapet, we're removing that.
So the parapet's gone too?
Well, the metal on the parapet.
The metal on the
yeah.
parapet, okay.
The metal on the parapet is gone, but we're keeping the same color scheme as the previous metal of that location.
Any other questions, the applicant? Commissioner Jimenez.
So you're saying the windows are being replaced or added to allow for natural light?
Yes.
Did I hear you correctly also that there's going to be awnings above those windows?
Yeah, that was, we worked with the planning department on that to give it an architectural element treatment, similar to the canopy that's over on the east elevation where the car is. There's also like a little canopy over the service bay doors.
Is that something you wanted to do? Was that the awnings, or was that staff's
I think it's actually, it's a
recommendation?
good move. It was both a recommendation from staff, and I kind of accepted it openly, because I think it was a good idea. And they don't project very far, so they're not going to block the sunlight coming in.
What is the benefit of this design versus the previously approved design?
The benefit, it's really strictly, you know, if we can't get this to pencil, we're not going to do it. And we need to update the building because it's kind of, I don't want to say dated, but with the new McDonald's and El Pollo Loco color schemes that are there, the modern buildings, we just wanted to give this one a facelift.
And do you feel that that is what you're doing here with the revisions?
I feel like we've gotten to a good point to where it cohesively works with the buildings that are there now, and it's a win-win for everyone, I think.
What do you think is the positive at the moment? Give me maybe your top 2 or 3.
I think the larger
versus
window,
the previously.
the larger window openings.
Okay.
The previous approval had just the square windows, and now with the larger center windows, yeah, so that's the previous one. And then we just added more window area, combined them to make a ribbon glass, so that's a new architectural feature on that end.
Was there ever discussion about shared costs? Because it seems these improvements do not necessarily just benefit this potential tenant on the second floor, but it probably benefits Goodwill, Dollar Tree, and then the automotive use. Is there any discussion with that?
There was not that discussion, and that's really something only on the landlord's end that we do.
Okay.
I mean, it was even a deal point with Honest Auto Care to update and paint the building before they moved in, and that didn't happen.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Thank you. So the previously approved modification, there's quite a few things that are bullet pointed here that was going to be done. And with the new one, the only thing you're continuing to do is paint, the way it looks. Paint the existing block exterior that
Yeah,
as previously
painting
proposed, but
and the windows.
the windows, yeah, but the corrugated, the canopies, all that stuff is gone.
Yeah, the corrugated metal, which was also the canopy element, which
Yeah.
was also the corrugated metal, and then the stucco.
Right.
And the reason, I mean, just to explain the reason behind the stucco number being so costly is the existing building is CMU, and it's not the flat CMU. It's the split face block, so you have gaps of 2 inches, 1.5 inches, so that there's at least 3 layers of stucco going to go on this. And to get a flat surface, you're talking about at least 3-inch projection in certain areas.
So this $300,000 difference, is there any other number between, is that the only number that works, is the 150,000?
I mean, really, the only number that really pencils over the lease term for this tenant is even less than that. So we're giving a little bit.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Does anyone else want to speak in favor of the project? Anyone against? I guess not.
Dave, are you for or against?
Or against, yes. Okay. Open it to commission discussion. Anybody want to start? Commissioner Castellanos.
I'm disappointed to see that the financial aspect of the original approved project is not working out. Because frankly, I really did like the stucco. I understand how expensive that is, especially with the 3D features you've got there right now. Well, it's with hesitation that I say I'll go along with this, because I think that some improvement is better than none. I certainly, like I said, I understand the financial aspect. Hopefully you could get some tenants and some projections that might make the stucco work at some point in the future. Because I do think the original proposal was much better. And that's all I've got to share.
Commissioner Manis.
Yeah, same here. I'm a little bit disappointed, and I think that where I was going with my questions is I was hoping there was some sort of compromise to at least bring a couple, if any, of those elements from the previous approval to this proposal, which at the end of the day appears to be just a couple coats of paint, or maybe 3 coats of paint, to get that schematic just to match the 2 new buildings. That's my personal thought. I think there's hopefully some sort of opportunity to address the fenestration you're trying to do with the windows on the upper level, but at the same time, maybe encourage or beef up that lower arcade. It looks very there. It doesn't pop out at you like we previously approved. And that's maybe a missed opportunity. In my opinion, I would have hoped that you could bring or consider bringing over at minimum some level of those elements that we previously approved. I understand the stucco situation. I think I can work with that considering the circumstance, but I have to believe as well, you were probably aware of that prior to the previous recommendation. I mean, that's a huge undertaking to not be aware of. So with that said, I do hope you consider bringing some level of elements from the previous approval to this design. I'm still sitting here at my chair, not happy with what I'm seeing.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Well, if I agree with what you said, if you want to make a motion to bring it back, I would support that motion because, quite frankly, I'm not thrilled with what's here. You know, that is a very prominent building. In a very it's part of the the new. It's in the middle of everything, and I just think we're losing a lot here in my view. I wasn't here in December for the previous approval, which I probably I mean I approved the original one back. I think you were on here too, right? So I get it. I get the need and all that. I mean I would have probably approved the 1740, whatever the number was, 1642. But this one here, I don't think we're improving it. I think we're putting lipstick on the pig, so to speak. Bad choice of words, but yeah, I don't think we're improving. I understand Commissioner Costello saying something's better than nothing, but I don't know. I mean, I don't feel comfortable with what's there. I think it's too flat, too plain. It makes it look like it belongs in an industrial area, and I have those concerns. I don't think I can support what's in front of me.
Yeah, I have to agree. When I look at that, it almost looks like a warehouse somewhere. It's not an improvement. And I understand there's a financial burden that you bear on this thing, but I'd like to see you come back and work with staff to see if you can spruce it up some. But right now, it's just, to me, blah. It doesn't do anything, and that's right on the showcase of the boulevard. You got two brand new buildings or two new businesses in there. I'd like to see it come back, and I'd like to make a motion to have it come back.
Before you get to a motion, I think there's a couple of things we should be clear on what you're looking for. What I heard in terms of the maybe looking at beefing up was the canopy. What term was used? The arcade. Now, is that what we're talking about? Because if that's what we're talking about, we want to be clear to the applicant. We want to make sure that we discuss with the applicant what your concern is and what you'd like to see done. So the maker of the motion would make that clear as part of the motion.
Commissioner Manis?
Maybe just a thought, maybe we can just talk here a bit, just to maybe reconcile our thought process, because my thoughts of what can be done, and hopefully in consideration to dollars, is somewhat of a, I don't want to use the word quick fix, but it may address at minimum some of my concerns. One is that arcade. Second, there's a thought in my mind that maybe we can break up that facade instead of it looking as one building, maybe treating it in such a way that it looks distinctly as three separate tenant spaces from the ground floor. I believe that could be achieved through some level of minor modulation, maybe proposing the stucco finish to project out to create that illusion that it's three separate buildings. But again, that's at minimum my thought, to try to maybe break up and give the building a little bit more character. Those are at least my thoughts.
I agree with that. Another suggestion I would make is maybe something at the top, like at the parapet, just more features, something to make it more visually appealing. So, you know, some creativity that doesn't break the bank, but does to stand out. I think that's not very specific, but I think there are probably opportunities that could be found with the help of staff. But that at the top of the building, I think that might be a good opportunity to look at.
Yeah, it's not so much the.
Thank you, Commissioner Reynolds.
Yeah, thank you. It's not so much the stucco aspect of it. I'm looking for the architectural elements. You know, it's just, we all agree it's kind of flat and, you know, and nondescript, you know. So I just think it's something that kind of brings it out, gives it the movement that I referred to originally.
Maybe I will throw in the word modulation, create some level of modulation.
Articulation, something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay, I think I understand, and I think that as with any situation, we've got 4 different individuals, and you got a 5th person who isn't here, all have different ways of looking at things. So you've got 3 things that have been mentioned, and perhaps they don't have to do all those, but if they can get 2 of the 3, I think that there was a singer that said 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so maybe that's the situation here. Yeah, that's the guy. So the other thing I think we should do is ask the applicant to come forward and see if he's interested in
Mr. Schmidt, would you like to come forward?
Chairman, Commission, thank you. This is a timing issue for this tenant, that we can get these improvements made in a certain period of time. We have about 6 months to do this. And I think the concern, which I'm hearing, is this lower canopy portion, the arcade element. Do we want to go back to the previously approved? So as you can see, the color scheme is still the same on both proposals. The modulation that you're interested in is being achieved by this metal feature above each of these signs. If we take those 3 elements and put that on this proposed PD mod, would that be something that the commission is interested in? Because the windows, I personally like the windows on this requested application, the ribbon windows, the larger windows. So if I take these 3 metal elements and put those on this request, would that suffice?
I agree. I like the windows on the new proposal too. I like that. I don't have a problem with that. And what you just suggested could very well work.
Okay.
And it ain't gonna break the bank, I don't think.
No. So that's what I'm bringing to the table now, if we can consider this
I think what
tonight.
the applicant is doing is saying, I'll throw that one in. If we throw that in, are you willing to approve it tonight with staff direction to provide that awning, cornice feature on the arcade that kind of flares out, and it's goldish color?
Right, with everything else staying the same.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
I would say maybe that with, here in the lower left corner, it looks like that little entrance matches those. Wait, do you have the pen, Ron? Right there. Is that part of it too?
Yes, that's part of it.
Okay, that's different elevation. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Now, the only thing that I really didn't like from this proposal is the angle of the canopy. So it'd be okay if we could maybe straighten the edge of it, just have it straight instead of have it. If you come up a little bit more, Ron.
She's talking about the 45-degree.
So change it to just a true parapet?
A true parapet, yeah.
I believe it's going to lead to more of a monolithic look to an already square building.
Okay, agreed. Fine, okay,
Yeah.
we'll keep the angle.
Any thought process on introducing maybe some of those score elements from the stucco to that front elevation to try to maybe break up that facade?
Maybe what we can do is, we can study the paint scheme on that. Maybe we can use some dark grays or some silvers in there. Or something along that line. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't want to break it up as much as the score lines in the stucco, because the score lines in the stucco serve a purpose on it. So maybe that's something staff and I can work on, I think, the color scheme.
So the idea would be to create a color scheme that sort of provides a variety of textures, or colors, not textures, but colors as you go across the building face.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's easy to do. That's, yeah.
So is it time for a motion to do that?
I think so.
I'll make a motion to do that.
I will second that motion.
Okay, and I'm gonna define what we're doing.
Please.
So we got Herb and Jose as the second. So we would be refining the paint colors to provide at least 3 different colors palettes as we go across, and then we're gonna replace, we're gonna go back to this design with the cornice above each one of the 3 arcades with the design that was originally approved and place it on there. So those 2 things. And we just need a vote then, and we can go forward.
We'll have a call for a vote. All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, passes 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you.
For working with us on that.
Thanks. Yeah. Yes.
This, by the way, Jeff, this keeps turning off. I don't know if there's a short in it or something. Yeah. Okay, number 5, Code Amendment number 14-05, entitlements processing, study session regarding entitlements and the processing of entitlements.
All right, you guys are probably tired of this subject, but we were getting close to finishing it, and as we were drafting the code amendment language, we came across an issue that we had discussed doing, which I think we should change the process. I've listed in the staff report sort of how we got where we're at, and I've listed on page 1 and under page 2, numbers 1 through 13. Those are the 13 changes, the revisions that we are working on in the code. The one that we came across was number 9, and that has to do with creating modification procedures for tentative tract maps and parcel maps. It's a different section of the code. It's a subdivision section of the code. So just to remind you, we were planning on doing, taking the planning director's modification, which we just went through, and splitting it into 2 things. One would be a minor site plan review, which would be for projects that are completed and constructed. What we just did here would, if this is approved, would be a minor site plan review. And then the other one would be a minor modification. That's a change to a project that's under construction now, that you approved, but that has never been finalized and built, but they're changing something in the middle of construction. Something that might have, I can't think of anything that's under construction right now, but let's say that when the Colonies was under construction, they wanted to change the paint color. That would come back to you, but it's under construction. So usually there's a different viewpoint on those things, because one, you just approved it. Why you make, the changes are different than when something's been in place for 25 or 30 years. So it is very common. It's very common. And insignificant things we still wouldn't bring to you. They would probably be done by us. But those are the 2 types. They're very different in the way that they perform in the criteria. Okay, so as we thought about that, we realized that subdivisions are not the same as things like precise plans and conditional use permits or administrative use permits. Subdivisions, you approve a tentative map. Once the final map is approved, you can't change the subdivision. So you can't come back with a minor site plan review after the subdivision has been completed, right? It's a subdivision is recorded. It's in fact. It's on the ground, and so we realized we don't really need that. But at the same time, we realized we kind of want that because we have another problem in the code. So we got to the real problem is that in the single-family zone, precise plans are not required. Okay, so what that means is if we go back in time a little bit and remember that we reviewed the project on Lark Ellen, the City Ventures project. It's under construction right now on the north side of the wash, single-family property. It's being built as single-family. It did not need a precise plan. So therefore, it's done under a tract map. So therefore, we get into this weird situation where we're trying to review architecture and design and layout as part of the tract map, which doesn't make sense. The tract map subdivides property. So what we think we need to do, instead of this minor site plan review process, we need to change the code to require a zone change to a specific plan in the R1 zone to require a precise plan. So if we do that, so remember that a precise plan is for the review of site plan and architecture. So in effect, when we approved on Lark Ellen, I don't believe we had a precise plan on either one of those. We approved them through a tract map, and the tract map, and then what else was on there? Was there a variance? Oh, a zone change and general plan amendment. None of those had anything to do with the design. So we can't legislate to the design. Once the tract map's recorded, that's done. So now you have no way to legislate. You don't really have control over what gets constructed. So that seems to be the missing part. Now there's another part to that just to discuss, because when we have subdivisions in R1 zone, there's two different types of subdivisions. There's the type of subdivision we just talked about that's part of a specific plan, and the specific plan, just to remind you, changes the zoning. So it changes the zoning from R1 to a specific plan, but it's an R1 specific plan. There's another type of thing that happens in the R1, and we have a couple that are sort of in the works right now, but you approved two of them in the last few months, one on Cameron and one on Meeker and Garvey. They were subdivisions, but they were not specific plans. They were done under the zoning code standards for R1. But we don't feel you need a precise plan there, because the houses generally need a CUP, an AUP, because if it's two-story, it needs a CUP. If it's over a certain size, it needs an AUP. So you have a way to address the design of the houses through that. So all this is to say that we want to find a way that the city has control over the design that is approved and constructed on houses that are built in subdivisions. So that's what we're planning on doing. I wanted to bring it up to you. If you had any questions, or if you want to tell me not to do that, now would be a good opportunity to do that. Or if you have any other questions on that. Okay, so I'll go on. The only other thing we did talk about, which is number 12, which came from our city attorney's office, consider establishing standards to allow council members to request a call for review of a planning commissioner's decision. We think maybe with changes that may be upcoming with the districting, that maybe this isn't a good time to be introducing that, and that's really, planning commission really maybe wouldn't be the ones that should initiate something like that. So we think it's best to leave that one off. So those are the two changes that we're suggesting from what we brought you before. And I don't need a vote or anything. If you're all in agreement, we'll move forward with that. And that concludes my presentation on that. Bueller.
That is within the scope and duties assigned to the commission. Anybody have anything they want to bring up? No? Oh, Commissioner Jimenez.
And I came in a little bit late, so I don't know if this was mentioned earlier, but reading the news over the last few days, I came across a story about a local Marine that died while training out in Australia. And just the gentleman's name was Private First Class Ruben Velasco, just to maybe have his thoughts and prayers with him and his family. You know, he paid the ultimate price trying to serve our country, so that's it.
Anyone else? Okay, planning director's report.
We have the forthcoming provided for you. We have quite a few items, both scheduled for the 22nd and also for the 12th. And we, right now, I think we have several items for the 26th as well. So the next three meetings are going to be busy. So if you haven't been earning your money, then you probably will in those next few meetings. Well, you don't have it yet, but you will next time, September 26th. Yeah. Big items, we have a Porto's scheduled for the 12th, and that's been released for hearing already. We also, on the 26th, have the Merrill Gardens Assisted Living Facility project that's right out here at the corner of Sunset and West Covina. That's a big project, too, about a 5-story assisted living facility, memory care institution. So both of those are big projects. They're both new construction. They're both require mitigated negative declaration and review. So those are both big projects. I think
I know you can't really talk about the projects, but there's a precise plan for 2539 East Garvey Avenue, the former Mazda site.
Correct.
Someone's interested in reestablishing an
The
automotive
applicant,
use?
the owner of the property is interested in investing in it to fix it up.
Okay,
And they can answer any questions about what the future is, but
Okay.
that's basically it.
thank you.
This is also, the forthcoming is also an opportunity to look and see if there's anything that you guys might be conflicted on. That's a good thing for it. So always keep that in mind as you move forward. I did have one other thing that I wanted to mention, and in similar vein as Commissioner Jimenez just mentioned. A young lady named Sylvia Hernandez, who was a planner here, passed away a week ago Saturday. Sylvia was a planner here from 2001 to 2005. She was actually the first person that I hired as a manager in West Covina. She left here to, she had a baby, and she left here to take care of her family. She left behind a son who's about 11 or 12 and a daughter who's about 7 or 8. She died of cancer, and so it might be appropriate. We don't usually do this. Council does this a lot, but Sylvia, sat in these seats and presented, and some of you may remember. It's been a while ago, but she did. She was one of, just like all of us sitting here this evening. She did her duty while she was here, and she was very interested in having a family, and was very devoted to that family, and that showed in her character. And it might be nice for both Ruben Velasco and for Sylvia Hernandez to retire in their honor.
Have it in the notes, in the meeting notes?
I'm sorry?
Have it in the meeting
Yeah,
notes?
we can have it in the minutes.
Very good. I agree. We all agree. Okay.
That's all I have.
There's nothing else. Meeting is adjourned.